Thank you, Dan. It is really good to see all of you here for our 2013 Policy Forum. I appreciate the opportunity to update you on the state of our organization. We're 170 years strong. Very few organizations that are in existence can make a statement like that. Take a moment to think about the 3 centuries B'nai B'rith has spanned in our 17 decades. Reflect on just how the last 170 years takes us, and think about what else did and didn't exist in 1843. When the B'nai B'rith founders gathered at Sinsheimer's Cafe in the fall of 1843 to launch what would then become B'nai B'rith International, they hadn't read the New York Times before the meeting, because the paper wasn't founded for another 8 years. They didn't cut out the meeting early to catch a baseball game. One of Dan's meetings. Major League Baseball wasn't set up until about 1869. For nearly 4 decades after B'nai B'rith was founded, if there was a national disaster and people needed help, it was B'nai B'rith that stepped up. The American Red Cross, co-founded by a B'nai B'rith member, was established in 1881. Our link to our founders is indelible. Though we have grown, adapted, and evolved, we still relentlessly advocate for global Jewry and champion the cause of human rights. We still promote Jewish unity and continuity. We are still in disaster relief. We tirelessly advocate on behalf of senior citizens, and we strongly and proudly defend the state of Israel. Our voice continues to carry far and wide. In March, a delegation of our leaders met with UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon to discuss Israel's treatment at the United Nations, the growing nuclear threat Iran poses to the world, and the situation in Syria, among other subjects. Internationally, B'nai B'rith is on the world stage in many ways. Our event, in conjunction with the United Nations Holocaust Remembrance Day, continues to be a great success. This year, our theme was restitution. We were in Rome at the inauguration of Pope Francis, where we also took part in the first interfaith audience with him. B'nai B'rith International stature can also be appreciated through our reception in a variety of global circles. We hold advocate meetings with dozens of world leaders in New York for the General Assembly, and we continue to speak out for Israel at the Human Rights Council in Geneva, where we also met with dozens of ambassadors to explain the unfair treatment of Israel at the Council and other UN venues. I'm asked why we are there, when all the actions seem to be against Israel and nothing changes. We are there because we are the conscience of those countries that know better. We are there to remind them that we are looking over their shoulders. I am pleased to report our delegation in New York and Geneva included young leaders who tell us that our internationally is what is so intriguing and exciting about B'nai B'rith. Our partnership with AEPI continues to flourish. This year, we Walk to Remember took place on 110 college campuses in the United States, Canada, Israel, and the United Kingdom. As always, this moving and educational event to call attention to the Holocaust leaves a lasting impression on college students worldwide. We also are pleased that our AEPI partners, current students, as well as alumni, have joined us in our important global business, including at the UN events in New York and Geneva. I want to personally thank Andy Borens for this very productive partnership. Have you seen what else today's, yes, that's Have you seen what else today's young folks can do? Our educational campaign promoting tolerance and diversity. The Diverse Minds Youth Writing Challenge continues to enlighten today's youth. This was the 7th year of the book writing contest, where teens create original books to teach lessons of tolerance and diversity to grade school children. Since the program's inception, B'nai B'rith and its partners have awarded $165,000 in college scholarships and grants and published 20 original children's books written by teens. Our Young Leadership Network is busier than ever. Around the country, engaged, enthusiastic young leaders are celebrating the internationality of our organization, making a difference at the local and global levels. We have active groups in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and Denver. We added a group in New Jersey, and we are expanding into Los Angeles and Detroit. And I might add, we are about to form a group in Buenos Aires. Our dedication to senior issues and housing for seniors of limited means is still solid. Since 1987, residents from B'nai B'rith low-income apartment buildings from around the country have come to Perlman Camp for the biennial Resident Leadership Retreat. This summer, we hosted 35 resident leaders for daily training sessions, best practices sharing, and intergenerational programming with our campers. It is one thing to read about what the commitment to safe and affordable housing means to so many people, but it is another to hear firsthand accounts of where some of these residents should be without us. I urge you to visit our website to watch videos from some of the participants as they explain the significance of our housing program. Our work in Latin America is, as always, diligent, dedicated, and results-driven. In June, nearly a decade of hard work paid off when the Inter-American Convention Against All Forms of Discrimination and Intolerance and the Inter-American Convention Against Racism, Racial Discrimination, and Related Forms of Intolerance were approved by the Organization of American States General Assembly in Antigua, Guatemala. These conventions will be extremely important tools in fighting anti-Semitism and other forms of bigotry. B'nai B'rith staff in Latin America and the United States pressed political leaders across Latin America to adopt these clear guidelines for combating hate speech and racial discrimination. And it was through our efforts that anti-Semitism is specifically acknowledged as a form of discrimination. Very important point. B'nai B'rith was able to bring our depth and breadth of knowledge to bear to get these important tools passed. Late last year, we hosted Gilad Shalit at the 6th B'nai B'rith Young Jewish Adult Forum. Shalit, the Israeli soldier captured by the Hamas terrorists and held captive for 5 years, became an honorary B'nai B'rith member. I have to tell you, it was a humbling experience to meet him, to see a living example of bravery of Israel's military and know the constant threats they face. Our World Center in Jerusalem keeps us well connected to the events and leaders in Israel. The World Center's agenda was as busy as ever. This year, we took part in the inaugural meeting of the Knesset Lobby for Combating Anti-Semitism, and we continue to recognize and encourage Israel-diaspora relations. The World Center hosted its 21st award for journalism, recognizing excellence in diaspora reportage. This coveted award has an impressive array of judges, and the winners list over the last 2 decades is a who's who of prominent Israeli reporters and editors. Since 1985, the World Center has attracted major speakers to deliver the Jerusalem Address, established a forum to address fundamental challenges facing Israel and the Jewish people. This year, noted British novelist and columnist Howard Jacobson was our featured speaker. His address received media attention from just about every major and minor media outlet in Israel. There's an underreported problem plaguing the Middle East, and B'nai B'rith has been at the forefront making a difference. We are playing a key role in drafting a bipartisan measure before Congress which would recognize the plight of nearly 1 million Jewish refugees from Arab lands, Jews displaced from their homes in Arab and Muslim countries as a result of the Middle East conflict. Under this bill, the State Department would be required to report to Congress on measures it has undertaken to advance the rights of these refugee populations who have been largely abandoned by the international community. On so many issues, we identify problems and we seek out solutions. Earlier, I mentioned our long history in disaster relief. Helping those in need after a disaster is a guiding principle for us. When terrorists detonated bombs at the Boston Marathon in April, B'nai B'rith opened its disaster relief fund to aid the victims and families. When a powerful tornado devastated Moore, Oklahoma, many of you supported our flood, tornado, and hurricane relief fund to help the town get back on its feet. Earlier this week, we opened a fund to aid with the devastation in the Philippines. We've been springing to action to help disaster victims since 1865, and our work continues through monetary donations as well as hands-on helping. B'nai B'rith and AEPI just last month organized a cleanup in Oklahoma, dismantling a damaged barn, basically providing a week's worth of work in just one day. Thanks to the enthusiasm and energy of our partners, 35 AEPI brothers. And our Young Leadership Network is also dedicated to helping. In New York, the group focused on the Sandy relief efforts. Since the storms hit a year ago, young leaders in New York have performed well more than 325 hours of service and raised $2,200 for the B'nai B'rith Disaster Relief Fund. Our Young Leadership Network is active across the country and around the world. Let me now ask a question. Do you have 21,000 friends? B'nai B'rith does. Our social media campaign has exploded this year, with 21,000 people from all over the world liking us on Facebook. 2,800 people are following us on Twitter, and we have more than 300 videos on our YouTube channel. There are so many ways now for the public to connect with us. For many, local community events are still the way they learn about B'nai B'rith, our reach and our strength. And that's a great nod to our tradition and the power of face-to-face connections. But social media has allowed us to exponentially grow, bringing into the fold new people who now know us and what we do. Our B'nai B'rith magazine continues to offer in-depth, insightful articles you can't find anyplace else. And once again, we were recognized for our efforts. B'nai B'rith won a first place Rockover Award from the American Jewish Press Association for last year's cover story on Jews and the Civil Rights Movement. It's a must read. And just a few weeks ago, we learned that our story on the Jews of Berlin won a Bronze Award in the Cultural Tourism category from the American Society of Travel Writers. If somehow you missed these, catch up on them by going on our website. All of the magazines can be read there. Op-eds and letters in such publications as the Washington Post, the Times of Israel, the EU Observer, FoxNews.com, and JTA helps get our name and message out on a broad audience. Reporters on all beats continue to seek us out for our in-depth knowledge on a wide range of topics. And to this area, Dan Mariashin need not take a second position to anyone. By using tried and true traditional methods of reaching out, such as direct mail, along with cutting-edge technology, B'nai B'rith is reaching more people in more ways than ever before. And you can get help. You can help us get our name in front of people. Wear B'nai B'rith gear. From golf shirts to workout gear, laptop and tablets covers, to bibs for the grandkids, shop at our new store, the B'nai B'rith Gear. We have $10 off gift cards for you to use just in time for Hanukkah. They are in your kits. There are two new impressive print pieces I want to call to your attention. They show B'nai B'rith's impact since our founding. We were pleased to share with you an updated map and timeline chronicling B'nai B'rith's achievements since 1843. Despite my more than 50 years with B'nai B'rith, there were many surprises in the chronology, and so much to be proud of. Another don't miss is our President's Book. You'll hear more about that later during this forum. We have compiled accolades from U.S. presidents dating from Grover Cleveland, meaning presidents spanning the 19th, 20th, and 21st centuries, have recognized and noted the B'nai B'rith spirit. And if you haven't already seen our terrific new video produced in honor of our 170th anniversary, you'll get a chance in just a few minutes. You can always see it on our website as a stunning reminder of all we have done. Just last month, we hosted a terrific anniversary event in New York in recognition of our German Jewish founders, the 12 individuals who established an organization dedicated to positive Jewish contributions in their new home. It is now 170 years later, and we are proud custodians of the missions of the global voice of the Jewish community. From our commitment to fighting for human rights and combating anti-Semitism, to supporting seniors, providing disaster relief, and advocating for Israel, we see our legacy alive in so many programs and commitments. I want to thank you for allowing me to share some of the highlights of this last year. We have had a glorious history, and an exciting future awaits us. Please join with me as we continue on this journey.